Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
The search is on for a new Haiti Prime Minister. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Monday, July 16. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. Haitian President Jovenel Moïse is promising wide national consultation in choosing a new prime minister to replace Jacques-Guy Lafontaine, who resigned over the weekend in the wake of violent public protest over a proposal to increase fuel prices. He says he will consult with Parliament, political parties and organizations in all sectors of society so that he can appoint a prime minister to conduct the affairs of the government. Lafontaine, who faced a motion of no confidence following the protest that led to the death of at least 7 people, sent his resignation to President Moïse, who accepted it. The Chamber of Deputies had called on him to answer questions after riots erupted 2 weekends ago. Addressing the nation on Saturday night, President Moïse chastised those involved in the violent protests that had continued despite the decision to scrap the proposed increase. He warned that violence does not go hand in hand with development and democracy and said the bad practices that keep Haiti moving backwards must come to an end. Cuba has revealed new details about plans to reshape its government, courts and the economy with a constitutional reform. Under the reforms, the country is set to officially recognize the free market and private property for the first time. Property sales were banned after Fidel Castro came to power in 1959, but permitted after a law changed in 2011. The communist-run state's new constitution will reaffirm that central planning and state enterprise are key to the economy. It is expected to be approved by a vote at the National Assembly next week. The draft constitution would then be put to a referendum for final approval later this year. The new reforms also include the introduction of the presumption of innocence in the justice system. Under the proposed reforms, the Communist Party will remain as Cuba's dominant political force, but presidents will be limited to serving 2 consecutive 5-year terms, and political power will be divided between the president and a prime minister. The reforms would also ban discrimination based on gender, ethnic origin, or disability. As the discussion on legalization of marijuana in the region continues, the Bahamas' Financial Services Minister Brett Simonet is maintaining that nothing will be done in his country without first consulting with the people. CARICOM recently released a report from its Marijuana Commission which recommended the decriminalization of marijuana. But the heads of government agreed that the approach should be on a country-by-country basis as member states review their legislation on the drug. Simonet says he's aware of the diversity of views and there will be much discussion on the matter soon.
I think at some point the government will start discussing the report and see what the feedback is. I think there are a lot of people have different views, both sides. I've been engaged myself with a number of people, and it's interesting the diversity of views. So I think we'll listen to what that is and then decide what's going to happen after that. On both ways, I can see the benefits, I can see the drawbacks. So I would have a bit more in-depth talking with people to see how everyone feels.
As Antigua and Barbuda prepares to open the region's first sexual offences court, law enforcement officers there are getting training to deal with those crimes. It is part of the judicial reform and institutional strengthening project of the Caribbean Court of Justice and the Canadian government. We get more in this report from Jamie Roger of ABS Television.
Sexual offences court being set up in Antigua and Barbuda under the project will serve as a model for similar courts to be developed in other countries in the region. Regional Project Coordinator and Gender Specialist for the Jewish Project, Anika Gray, shares details about the court.
The Sexual Offences Model Court is essentially a set of specialized procedures for the management of sexual offense cases. These specialized procedures include tighter case management processes, a fast-tracking process for sexual offense cases, as well as one of the new features that we're going to be implementing is the use of video conferencing technology that will allow vulnerable complainants to give their evidence remotely.
At the opening of a 3-day seminar for police on Friday, Deputy Commissioner Everton Jeffers charged the participants to share the knowledge gained at the workshop with colleagues in their various departments.
I'm expecting at the end of this 3 days training or workshop that all of you sitting here this morning will be more efficient in terms of your investigations. And I expect also at the end of the day to see an increase in our success rates at the court and a vast improvement in our professionalism as it pertains to sexual offenses investigation.
Detective Inspector from the Center for Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse in Jamaica, Cherise Johnson, is the instructor at the workshop.
The objective of this workshop really is to build the capacity of you as police officers to respond more effectively to gender-based violence and sexual offense cases. I can assure you that it will help you to enhance your knowledge, understanding and skills to the approaches on how to investigate sexual assault cases.
Over the course of the seminar, participants will focus on areas including the dynamics of sexual violence, policing sexual violence, implications of sexual victimization, protection of evidence, and meeting the emergency needs of the complainant. Police workshop is the first of several seminars to be held in July and August. Other groups scheduled to benefit from the training are prosecutors, medical professionals, and magistrates.
1 month into the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season, some Barbudans can now rest easy with new roofs over their heads. The roofs of more than 300 homes in Barbados, which were blown off during Hurricane Maria in September last year, have been replaced thanks to a $2 million project by the government of China. The project, which ended on June 30th, was implemented by the United Nations Development Program and the Antigua and Barbuda government. We get more in this report from Terry Andrews of ABS Television.
The repaired roofs allow for families to return home to Barbuda and pick up the pieces in the wake of Hurricane Irma's devastation. The re-roofing target was to complete 250 levels 1 and 2 and 3 homes by June 30. That target was not only met but exceeded. Some 302 roofs were repaired by NODS and the UNDP. UNDP resident representative Stephen O'Malley says the trilateral partnership yielded results.
The completion of 250 roof restorations for houses in the following categories: 101 in the level 1 category, 77 in the level 2 category, and 72 level 3s. We were also able to provide materials which supported the construction work on a further 52 houses, and as well to contribute and donate, as was done on the 28th of June, all remaining materials, tools and material and equipment to the government of Antigua and Barbuda for the further work on the restoration and recovery of Barbuda.
Even as the milestone is met, the work continues on roofs all across the island. Barbuda Affairs Minister, the Honourable Dean Jonas, notes the work to repair roofs is only the first step. Restoring businesses is the next phase.
The next phase of our plan will be business development. We're going to ensure that we restore all the businesses in Barbuda: tourism, fishing, agriculture, right across the board. We're going to be putting a lot of effort into ensuring that businesses in this island, this part of our country, are brought back to a level never seen before. I am committed to making sure that that happens.
Prime Minister the Honorable Gaston Brown also attended the ceremony at the Fisheries Complex and thanked the Chinese government and the other agencies for coming to the aid of residents. Brown reassured the Barbudan people of his commitment to the sister island.
My presence here today is to signal my commitment to Barbuda. I want to thank all of the stakeholders. I especially want to thank all of the contributors, particularly the People's Republic of China, Ambassador Wang and his team here in Antigua that has helped us to get this support, $2 million grant. I also want to thank the UNDP for ably executing this project, and I understand that this is now a model that could be utilized in other countries. And I want to assure the UNDP as well that as we continue to get support from the other countries, that we'll have you execute the additional projects.
The documents signaling the completion of the re-roofing exercise were then signed by the various agencies.
Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, allegations that Muslims in Trinidad and Tobago are being targeted by banks and foreign embassies. Stay with us. There's more news after the break.
Her passion for what she believes is unmatched.
So I wanted to get to the point where you can shake me off that perfect piece.
She's a book-off radio host, philanthropist, and motivational speaker.
And I said, I'm going to write you a check for $10,000, which I'm not.
Spirit, soul, and body.
To get them some help through the transition.
I'm Karita D, and you're listening to Girlfriend Get a Life.
Conscience is a bit about his album It Feel Good. In fact, he's planning a tour to promote the album next month. It Feel Good is Conscience's third studio album. Released on March 2nd, the set boasts 16 tracks. He said that the early promotional efforts being handled in North America by his label Empire are being carried out in the hip-hop market. But even as he makes preparation for intense promotion, Conscience is studying the market's feedback to a set that demonstrates his diversity.
There are claims in Trinidad and Tobago that Muslims are being targeted by banks and some foreign embassies. The allegations are being made by attorney Nafisa Mohammed, who says several people have approached her saying their visas have been revoked and bank accounts closed. And she says with all the discussion taking place with the anti-terrorism bill, she's making an appeal to the government to engage in discussion with the U.S. State Department.
Able to discuss the possibility of some kind of mechanism that can be put in place so that if persons are being listed or blacklisted, there can be an opportunity to go into that particular entity or forum to be able to supply any information that might be required to be able to clear their name and association with anything that might be of concern to the authorities.
Mohammed says the stigma attached to Muslim names has hampered the community for many years, and she adds that in recent times it is getting worse.
young, vibrant businessman who is involved in the oil and gas sector in our country. And suddenly he was called in and his visa for the United States of America was revoked. And this is a young man who has been deeply involved in business with several large, reputable companies in the United States of America.
The connection between mental health and natural disasters may not be immediately obvious to some. But the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, understands the relationship, and with the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season in full swing, it is taking it seriously. Last week, mental health professionals from across the region attended a workshop at PAHO's office in Barbados, where that country's health minister stressed that regional countries need to better prepare for the impacts of natural disasters on the mental health of their populations. We'll tell you more on this first edition of Newsline Health with Dawn Paris.
The experts say this year's Atlantic hurricane season will be less active than average. But as we all in the Caribbean know and have experienced, it only takes one system to turn the lives of a population upside down. And the impact of a storm or hurricane is not limited to damage to infrastructure. The physical and mental health are also affected by the loss which these dangerous systems can cause, as we hear from Barbados' Minister of Health and Wellness, Jeffrey Bostic.
The psychological impact of such devastation, including loss of life in some instances, cannot be overlooked. Immediate and focused interventions are needed to assist individuals to cope with loss and devastation, and to provide the tools to emotionally support individuals and their families in the eventual transition to normalcy or the new norm.
As Lieutenant Colonel Bostic knows what he's talking about. He served for 25 years in the Barbados Defense Force and has been part of teams responding to natural disasters in other Caribbean islands.
I recall in Grenada, after the aftermath of Hurricane Ivan, seeing Grenadians of all walks of life walking around with rum bottles, whiskey bottles in their hand, and not doing anything at all to help themselves. And at that time, I did not recognize that those poor people were in shock and had experienced a trauma that we would never ever like to experience ourselves. Similarly, after the volcano eruption in Montserrat, it was the Honorary Reconnaissance Mission, and it touched me profoundly to stand at the top of a hill and look down to the capital city, looking up to see that city with the ash. I mean, several buildings covered by ash. That affected me. And only last year, hosting a family from Dominica at my house for 2 weeks just to get them away from what was going on there. And a young girl, 6 years old, each time the rain fell, each time something hit on the top of the roof, she was disturbed. This is a serious, serious thing.
The Health and Wellness Minister was speaking at a training of trainers workshop in Barbados last week, which PAHO hosted with the aim of establishing a roster of persons who can be mobilized to affected countries in the event of a natural disaster to provide mental health and psychosocial support. Given the magnitude and frequency of storms affecting the region in recent times, Bostic says his government, as do others in the region, need to ensure they're ready for a mass crisis scenario.
The importance of having an adequate mental health system prior to an emergency situation becomes a national priority for disaster reduction. The capacity of a country to mobilize existing resources efficiently and effectively to organize an adequate mental health response will depend on the strength of its community-based mental health system and the existence of adequate policies, plans and legislation. A mental health plans and legislation. A mental health component, therefore, has to be part of the national health sector plan.
The minister admitted there are deficiencies in Barbados, with the country's mental health facilities incapable of coping with the resulting trauma of a major natural disaster. But he says his government is moving to correct that. Dawn Paris for Newsline Health. And ahead in Newsline Sport, West Indies record their first home series win
in 4 years. Stay with us. Sport is next.
This hurricane tip comes to you compliments the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and the Caribbean Media Corporation. Be prepared. Avoid sightseeing.
Join leading media and communications executives as well as climate change experts in Kingston, Jamaica from August 13 to 15 for the Caribbean Broadcasting Union 49th Annual General Assembly. This year's assembly, held in partnership with the CARICOM Climate Change Center, explores the theme, Building Resilience to Climate Change, Business, Technology and Content Options for Caribbean Media. Featured presenters include the Honorable Dr. Rural Reid, Jamaica's Minister responsible for information, the region's Chief Climate Change Negotiator, Mr. Carlos Fuller, the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, the Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica, and the International Telecommunications Union Caribbean Office. And broadcast manufacturers and media services enjoy special exhibition rates at this year's conference, joining premier exhibitor Eutelsat. For more information on discounted rates for delegates staying at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel or flying on the official airline Caribbean Airlines, go to the CBU website or call the Secretariat. The CBU looks forward to welcoming you to this key conference on climate change and the Caribbean media.
Renowned for its pristine beachfront and fantastic weather, continues to leave quite an impression on newcomers to the island and returning visitors. The Caribbean island, quite popular as a vacation hotspot, is not only beautiful due to its natural aesthetics. The island of Barbados continues to grow in popularity because of unique connections developed with our people, our culture. We can't wait to welcome you.
Jason Holder destroyed Bangladesh with his maiden 10-wicket haul in Test and the best figures by a West Indies captain on Caribbean soil as the hosts recorded their first home series win in 4 years. The Windies marched to an emphatic 166-run victory inside 3 days in the second Test on Saturday. Despite being rolled over for their lowest ever total against Bangladesh when they were dismissed for 129 in their second innings, West Indies quickly hit back with a vengeance, crushing the tourists for a meager 168 to complete a 2-0 series win and climb back above their opponents to 8th in the ICC Test rankings. The 26-year-old Holder was at the forefront of the Windies' success, claiming 6 for 59, his third 5-wicket haul in the last 6 innings. He finished with the career best match figures of 11 for 103 and 16 wickets in the series.
Kind of dismissal for both these batsmen. First it was Mushfiqur Rahim and then Nurul Hassan. King pair, first ball on target, misses it one more time. Again playing inside the line, not trying to show to play with the bat, misses it plumb in front.
An excellent test match for Jason Holder with ball. Shannon Gabriel then made his contribution, getting rid of Mehdi Hassan, well caught by Devon Smith. It's a good catch because it would have gone to Jason Holder. May have been quite low, but it would have carried, but Smith committed himself to taking the catch, and that was very good.
That was the big moment for the captain, picking up his 5-wicket, 10 wickets in a match, and also the wicket of the captain Shakib Al Hasan. That one checked back quite sharply and went through the defenses of Shakib Al Hasan. Brilliant delivery under the circumstances, and then this all over.
Yeah, given the number of wickets that Jason Holder has taken in this home international series, it'd be interesting to know how many, what percentage of that was bowled or LBW, because he's been hitting the stumps regularly. He's not been at full pace. An excellent test match for the Windies captain, and he's been batting so very well.
And despite his side trunks in Bangladesh at Sabina Park, the West Indies skipper wants to see better prepared pitches in the Caribbean.
First day was very, very moist, dried out, but still variable bounce, which for me, I don't really want to be seeing in Test cricket. I just feel as though, we need to do a little bit more in terms of our pitches to have consistent carry throughout the entire game, as opposed to balls keeping low and, some balls popping. I still like to see a bit more. I was a little disappointed in the way it turned out, but at the end of it, it's still good to see the guys adjusted well on the surface, and, we got ourselves out of a tough spot after losing the toss,
Holder told reporters he'd like to see more consistent pitches which better suit fast bowlers. And while he conceded that fast bowlers still managed to take wickets on the surface, he said the pitch was not as helpful as it could have been. The captain noted that the Sabina Park pitch was usually known for its pace and bounce.
Slightly contrasting. I just felt there should have been a little bit more on the surface here. We went in with 4 fast bowlers. Up front, we thought it would have been, a bit more helpful to the faster bowlers. Albeit the seamers did get the wickets, but in terms of the carry and consistent pace and bounce that we've come to expect here at Sabina Park, probably wasn't the way we expected. But again, still great that the guys could adjust, and we still won the Test match.
And meanwhile, Holder has shot to a career-best position in the ICC Test bowling rankings and has broken into the top 5 on the all-rounders chart for the first time ever. He jumped 9 places to 13th following his maiden 10-wicket haul in the second Test against Bangladesh. Holder claimed 5 for 44 and 6 for 59 to finish with match figures of 11 for 103 and end the 2-match series with 16 wickets. He was adjudged man of the match and man of the series. The performance also saw him overtake England's Ben Stokes and assume 5th spot in the all-rounders rankings. Having earned 98 ratings points from his Jamaica exploits, Holder is now just 11 points behind 12th ranked England team seamer Stuart Broad and 26 adrift of Gabriel. Also, for the first time since his debut 4 years ago, Holder's bowling average now lies below 30 at 29.35. He has taken 81 wickets from 34 tests. Switching sports now, Jamaica picked up 12 medals at the just concluded IAAF World Under-20 Championships. Discus throw champion Kai Chang and 100-meter hurdler Brittany Anderson were the last 2 to add to Jamaica's medal haul. Chang picked up the country's 4th gold at this year's championships with a throw of 62.36 meters, a personal best. Anderson copped silver when she finished her event in 13.01 seconds. And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
It starts from sunrise, a city filled with an island vibe, music, people, color, friendship, culture, and the warmest of smiles. Come enjoy the unique costumes, pulsating steel pans, exotic culture, exciting fetes, and unforgettable people. Discover Antigua's Carnival, the Caribbean's greatest summer festival, July 27th to August 8th, because the beach really is just the beginning.
Her passion for what she believes is unmatched.
I wanted to get to the point where you can shake me off that perfect piece.
A book-off radio host, philanthropist, and motivational speaker.
And I said, I'm going to write you a check for $10,000, which I'm not.
Spirit, soul, and body.
To get them some help through the transition. I'm Karita D, and you're listening to Girlfriend Get a Life.
Again, the major developments of this day. Haiti's president promises wide national consultations to choose a new prime minister to replace Jacques-Guy Lafontaine, who resigned. And in sport, West Indies record their first home series win in 4 years after an emphatic 166-run victory in the second test against Bangladesh. Now that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, subscribe to CarnaNews.com. For more of our programming, log on to caribvision.tv and subscribe to Caribvision's YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and do have yourselves a very good night.
Yo, what's up, y'all?